Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we're going to be going over another video of Hornet, the event carrier that came out recently. That is because they made quite a few changes to her since the last time we actually did a review on her, and so her playstyle is kind of different. So we're going to go over her again and show you how her new playstyle is. It's not that much different, but it is different enough that I felt it warranted a new video. Also, we did have an update this week, and there actually has been quite a few changes that have been made to the games themselves, or at least the way that rewards work. So we're going to go through the entire update. First, we can see, or at least look at, the British Tier 9 heavy cruiser. Oxford is what it's called. It's a beautiful cruiser. We'll look at her in a moment as we go back to the game. And then I'm not really sure what the custom battle thing there is. I don't really do custom battles all that often. But for the rewards, so for normal PvP, we have an EXP bonus or experience bonus from 400 to 600%, and increasing the hard mode addition bonus from 15% to 30. You can see here you're increasing the losing side's income on all modes, so if you lose, you don't necessarily lose as much credits this time, or at least that's what I would assume. For the high profit PvE, increasing the EXP bonus from 200 to 300. So this is the ones that cost oil, and they've actually increased the oil cost from 50 to 75. So now instead of being able to do 3 games of high profit PvE with, well, 50 oil each, now you can only do 2 with 75 each. They made some changes to the secondary fire sector and Exeter. So you can see there. Alright, so the changes made to Hornet. She has lost a ton of aircraft. She's lost 12 aircraft. Went from 76 to 64 aircraft. Decreasing the backup plane of fighter and torpedo bombers from 6, so the spare aircraft for fighters and torpedo bombers has decreased. And then the 2 B-25 dive bomber squadrons are now 1 squadron alone that consists of 16 planes. And then it says decreasing the possibility of all bombs landing on the major axis of the ellipse, so your dispersion is kind of be a little worse as well. Not only that, but the prep time and launch time of this bombing or dive bombing squadron is pretty immense. And whereas the first video we had with Hornet, you had 2 separate squadrons, and you could decide to maybe drop one the first time and then save the last squadron for later on. This time you only get 1 drop, and that's it. You only have 1 dive bomber drop in the entire game with Hornet. So you have to use it in a good spot. So like I said, you have some changes to the rewards. We can look at that British cruiser here in a moment, and then we're going to play another Hornet game to show you how the changes have affected her. Alright, so here's the ship we're going to go over today, but first let's take a look at that British cruiser. Honestly, this is one of the most beautiful cruisers I've seen in the entire game. I have renamed her Drake, because that's kind of what she looks like to me. It is a gorgeous cruiser. Look at this beauty. And as far as I can tell, she is the first cruiser in the game with 4 triple 8-inch guns. We obviously have guns bigger than that, but we don't actually have a ship that has 4 triples of 8-inch guns. We have them for 6s, but we don't have them for 8s as far as I'm aware. And she has Jutland turrets, or the destroyer turrets, right on the side here. She even has some torpedoes. She has aircraft. I'm assuming she still has a smoke. She might get a super heal like Neptune and Minotaur since she is a tier 9. To be determined. Right now she's only out for preview, but man, I just love looking at this cruiser. It's an absolutely gorgeous cruiser. I'm really excited to play her. And then we do have a picture that we saw a while ago when the British cruisers were first coming out with the tier 10. No name, no stats, no nothing, but the picture that it had it had defender turrets on the side for secondaries, had torpedoes, possibly, I think. It looks like every ship in this line, except Hawkins, has torpedoes so far. And then she had quad guns, so she had 2 quad turrets in the fore, and 1 quad in the back. So she would still have 12, assuming, 8-inch guns. They might be 9-inch, who knows. But yeah, so that would be a good ship up at tier 10 as well, or at least a 9.6, because that's probably what she'll be at. But for the 9.0, like I said, this ship is just amazing. It looks like she has a lot of AA. I will be going over all the British cruisers when they come back out, or all of them are out for availability. So that is why we haven't seen any games yet. And then I'm thinking about going back to the stats clash. The videos may be spontaneous and not in any kind of, well, kind of time frame order, I guess you could say, but I have been itching to finish that up. I have been waiting for these British cruisers to finish up, and there's only one more, no, there's two more ships that they said that, or they previewed before, they talked about that are not in the game yet. We have that French carrier that I thought might be a copy-paste of Victorious at 9.0 or something like that. It did not have a name, but if you actually want to look up the ship, it's Clemenceau. And then there's the Vallejo, which is the American Worcester class with the 4 triple Mark 16 8-inch Des Moines guns. And that was back when they had the news for Norfolk, Albany, and Oregon City as well. So as of right now, those are the only two ships that we are currently waiting on. We have the American destroyer split line, we have Hornet, we have some of the British cruisers. So we've gotten a lot of good stuff lately. And so I was waiting for all that to come out, and that way I can go over it all and not have to worry about it. Going back to the Stats Clash, I will have to redo a couple, or at least one of the videos, the cruiser one, because now we have Exeter, which I did not include because she was not out by the time I did that video. So we might be revisiting that pretty soon. I don't have an exact date, but I will work on it when I can. Alright, so back to the ship you actually all want to see right now. We're going to go back to Hornet. So as mentioned, we can take a look at the changes here. 64 planes. We get the one squadron of 16 dive bombers. Remember, these are the B-25s that drop 5 bombs each. So that's 16 times 5 bombs. But their accuracy is pretty low. I played a game right before this, and I dropped on a hood, and I was able to get 25 bomb hits, and it did a pretty decent amount of damage. Actually, we can check to see what damage it was. Let's see here. Details. Dive bombs. We hit with 25 bombs. We were able to do 18,500 damage. I didn't really have a good carrier game that game, but let's see if we can do any better now. Alright, so here we have a game. Let's see what we have. Carrier, 4 battleships, 3 cruisers, and 1 destroyer. I like this game. A lot of cruisers and battleships are nice for me, and less destroyers, the better. Alright. So as we can see, we only have 14 spare fighters and 16 spare torpedo bombers. So she still has a very torpedo-focused gameplay, but you do have to be a little bit smarter with your aircraft since you don't have as many reserve. If you look at the dive bomber squadron, it takes over 130 seconds for this squadron to load up. So you're waiting for over 2 minutes for this squadron to ready, and then when you actually take off with the squadron, it takes 30 seconds to launch, which is a long time. So you have to plan that out as well. It's best to, or at least in my case, get that out or in the air as soon as possible so you can use it whenever you need to. So it just hangs around for a little bit, and then you just focus with your torpedo bombers, and I use my fighters as AA cover for my torpedo bombers, and I don't really play defensively. I like to play offensively here, and I was not doing too good with the torpedo lead in the last game, but hopefully I had a little bit of practice and can fix that. Alright, so let's see what we have. Anything good? Nagato, easy target, nice now. Fast, but not terrible. Hood, not bad. Andre Dory, good target. Shun King has a lot of good AA, but everything else is meh. Alright, looks like our aircraft are ready. Let's start moving into position. We still have just under a minute for our dive bombers to actually get in the air. And let's see what our first target is. It looks like it might be that hood. We're going to be feasting on the battleships this game. Alright, we have a hood and a Nagato. That's pretty good. That could be our next target. The good thing about the ship is that the torpedoes actually reload really, really quick, or at least the torpedo bombers. Well, there's the Chongqing. I might lose some aircraft here, but that's fine. Not too worried about it. Alright, let's try something like that. I don't think that is enough torpedo lead though, but we'll see. Ooh, that was actually just barely perfect. Alright, we're going to keep our torpedoes out. Or, yeah, our torpedoes. Our fighters out to spot this destroyer for our team. Fubuki doesn't have terrible AA for a destroyer at this tier, but none of the destroyers at this tier could have what I'd say is good AA. So I might lose one plane, but that'd be about it. And it looks like we have our Chongqing about ready to take her on. Hood healed a bit and repaired the flooding. Our dive bombers are just now able to launch. You can see how many there are. Alright, where are they? There we go. Look at all of these bombers. There's 16 of these bombers, each with 5 bombs each. It's a pretty amazing sight, not gonna lie. But their use is pretty limited when it really comes down to it. Alright, so our torpedo bombers are actually already almost reloaded. Let's bring our fighters back. Let's see, who do I want to drop with these? We're going to go after the Nagato with these. So we're going to bring those up there. The torpedo bombers are coming back out. We're going to try and drop the hood again. And we're going to wait for our dive bombers to get in position here. We're actually going to try and do our drop on the hood first here. We might be able to get her first. We are under AA attack from the Chongqing and the Nagato. Not too worried about it though. Those bombers do have a lot of health. Something like that. That looks pretty decent. Enough torpedo drop range. And we should be able to finish her off. Cool. Dive bombers, come on down. Let me fix my course here first. Gonna have to go after that Chongqing next. We actually lost 2 bombers. Alright, so here we go. Look at how big this reticle is, but boom, 21 hits, 20,000 damage, 3 fires. And that's all we can do with our dive bombers. So it's not terrible. I don't know why I'm not moving where I want to, but it's not also the best either. So we're going to have our fighters over here. Nagato is still burning. 3 fires is really nice. Let's see, can we make this corner? Yeah, we should be able to. We do have good maneuverability, at least on the ship. I'm going to have to take manual control here for a moment. Let's get our torpedo bombers in the air. And we're going to go this way. Ooh, this hood might actually be able to take care of Chongqing. That'd be nice if she could. But I don't want to risk it, so we're going to take her out. Oh, just kidding. That was an absolute deletion. Which means we're going to go after this carrier now. But we could go after the Gneisenau now. Let's go after the Gneisenau now. Because the Nagato here is going to go down pretty soon anyways. And our Gneisenau is going to go down to the Hornet. And Gneisenau right there. There she goes. We could always switch back to Nagato if need be, but I feel like 3 battleships versus 1 with barely any health should not be an issue. Well, let's do our best to not run into the hood. We're gonna head back up here. Alright, so Ganiza now. Let's see if we can finish her off. She doesn't have that, or, well, I mean, she still has quite a bit of health. But I think with 8 torpedoes, we should still be able to finish her off. Ooh, but she has... Why is my torpedoes wide? There we go. But I don't want that kind of angle. There we go. That should... Well, I thought she'd be going faster. There we go. Well... Oh, we actually still got her. Nice. I did not expect to actually get her. Let's see if we can actually use our fighters to play defensively now. And go up here. We're actually going to have to pop our defensive AA pretty soon. Because I think we are the target. So let's pop that. We do have a pretty good torpedo well, kind of have a torpedo shield. By the way of this island here. Let's actually try and get a little bit closer to her. Trying to knock down all the aircraft, but it looks like those are kind of resilient right now. I don't know if them being on the other side of the island has anything to do with that. I should still be able to shoot them down though. Alright, let's get our torpedo bombers back in the air. The Nagato is still alive, and she actually healed a bit, but she's not going anywhere, so we can just focus on the carrier right now. Alright, so let's go this way. We're going to turn. There we go. And let's try and put some torpedoes. Actually, we're just going to spin. Alright, we drop our torpedoes. Let's see how those land. Awesome. What are our fighters doing? They need to try and take down some of these torpedo bombers. If there's any left by the time. Oh, our defensive AA is down. Can we dodge? Yeah, we're fine. Alright, cool. Now all we have left is that Nagato at the very bottom. Way over here. But she's gonna actually go down really quickly. So we're just gonna chill out on our carrier here. And there we go, we have a game. Better game than I had last time, I think. So let's actually check to see how we did. 173,000 damage, 3 ships sunk, 21 torpedo hits, 21 bomb hits, 30 aircraft shot down, 3 fires, 4 floodings, 1 module destroyed, 4,700 base XP. We did 20,000 damage and fires, less than 1,000 on floodings, even though we did get 4 of them. Torpedoes did 131,000 damage. Bombs did 20,900 damage, and we were able to shoot down 30 aircraft. See the stats here. So yeah, we did actually pretty decent that game. As you can see, she's very, very focused with torpedo bombers, and you have those dive bombers for, well, one good slap, and that's about it. They're not terrible, but they're take up a lot of room where you could use other aircraft, and honestly, they're not the best. As you can see, they still get shot down if you hover over AA targets, and they're kind of slow, and their accuracy is not really spectacular. Only getting 21 hits out of whatever 16 times 5 is. It's not the best. But, I mean, they are strong, and they do light fires. and so they're not terribly useless, just not what I would my preferred playstyle. I do like the previous layout for this carrier when it had more aircraft and the 2 split squadrons, but we have what we have. So that is how Hornet plays right now. You have until when, and that is when the event ends on the 23rd. So if you do not already have her and are close, do your best to grind her. And yeah, I mean, she's a fun little ship. And I have cleared all the missions, including the rank points, so I can work on my next rank point ship, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the Coral Sea Carrier. So we're going to try it out. So again, thank you so much for watching, and take care.